Hey there, future math wizards. Today we are going to dive into the fascinating world of factors of polynomials. Imagine your polynomial to be a big juicy sandwich. Now, what we're going to do today is we are going to break it up step by step and see what delicious factors make it up. By the end of this chapter, you will be solving factorization faster than you can say x equals to y. Wait, that's lame. Forget about it. So grab your calculators and your detective hats because we are about to crack polynomials step by step. Are you ready? Let's get started. But before we do, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Welcome everyone, welcome to today's class. In this class, we are going to start off with a new chapter of additional maths. And today, the chapter that we are going to start off is factors of polynomials. So let's start, and the first thing we are going to study is the first question that arises in our mind. What are polynomials? So the definition goes something like this. Polynomials are algebraic expressions that consists of variables and coefficients. Now we all know what are variables, we all know what are coefficients. We can also use the term constants here. Alright. So variables is anything whose value is unknown. Right? Constants whose values are known. Values are known. Right? Examples we obviously know is x, y, z. Some of the examples of this 2, 3, 4, minus 2, minus 3 and so on. So that's what a variable and a constant is, right? And when we combine them to form an expression, that is known as polynomial. Some of the basic examples I have given here, it's 5x minus 2, x cube minus 3x square plus 11x minus 2 and x square minus 2x plus 8. If you look at this, this is an example of a monomial. Sorry, what I am saying is, this is an example of a linear polynomial. Right? Why linear? Because the power of x is 1. This is an example of a cubic polynomial. Right? And this is an example of a quadratic polynomial. Right? Now another question arises, how do we know that it is a polynomial? Right? Fine, I did say that this is a polynomial, but how do we recognize? The simple way to recognize a polynomial is a condition. Now what is the condition? All the variables should have powers as whole numbers. And it should, like, there's like a one sub condition, variable, let's write it in different only. The second condition is the variable should be in numerator. Alright, so these are my two conditions. Right? So the first condition is that the powers should be whole numbers. Alright. The second condition is the variable should be in numerator. Now there's a very, like a basic question that can come, is 2 a polynomial? Yes, it is. 2 is an example of a constant polynomial. Now many of you might say that how can it be a polynomial? It doesn't even have a variable. It does. 2 can be written as 2 times 2 times x raised to the power 0. See, now we have a variable and the power of a variable is a whole number. That's why 2 is a polynomial, because 2 has a variable whose power is 0. Alright, please note it down. Alright, moving on to the next one, and the next topic is multiplication of polynomials. How do we multiply to polynomials? I'll be explaining it to you using a simple question. Alright, so in this one we have to multiply a polynomial by another polynomial. Whenever you are multiplying to polynomials, what we'll do is x square minus 5x plus 2 times 2x square minus x plus 1. Now, you need to remember one thing, it's not necessary that you will be given a question in which there is a multiplication sign. Might be you will be getting a question something like this, just like x square plus 2x minus 3 and 4x minus 11. Even this is an example of multiplication of two polynomials. Alright, now what we'll do is, we'll pick the first variable from the first bracket, x square, and we'll multiply it with the entire second bracket. Now we'll follow the same step, we'll pick the second term and we'll multiply it with the entire second bracket. Now we'll pick the third term and again we are going to multiply the second bracket, right? Now just multiply this term one by one inside the bracket. X square times 2x square is 2x to the power 4. X square times minus x, it's minus x cube, and x square times plus 1 is plus x square, right? Now minus 5x times 2x square, it's minus 10x cube. Minus 5x times minus x plus 5x square, and minus 5x times plus 1, it's minus 5x, right? The third one, 2 times 2x square, it's 4x square, plus 2 times minus x, it's minus 2x, 2 times 1, it's 2. That was our first phase. The second phase is collecting and adding slash subtracting the like terms. Now first let's figure out the like terms. There is no term having x to the power 4. Now we are left with x cube, so let's collect x. Okay, we have two terms having x cube, so 2x to the power 4. Now minus x cube minus 10x cube, it's minus 11x cube. Alright, now x square, alright, x square, x square, x square and x square, right? Alright, plus x square plus 5x square, it's plus 6x square plus 4 plus 10x square. Alright, now x terms. X, where is x? Here and this one, right? I hope it is visible. Alright, if it's not, wait. Okay, this one will be much better. And this minus 5x minus 2x, it's minus 7x, right? And just the constant term, that is plus 2, and that is my complete answer. I have underlined all of the terms for two reasons. First, to be able to recognize the like terms. Another, at the end, just make sure none of the terms are like are remained not underlined. 2x to the power 4 was the first term, and see all the other terms are underlined, making sure that yes, I have used all of the terms in my calculations and rearrangement. All right, please note it down. Moving to the next one, that is division. So how do we divide? Division, it's a little bit more complicated compared to multiplication. All right, now how we are going to do that? We are going to perform some basic steps. All right, on this side I am going to write steps, and on the right hand side simultaneously I am going to perform the division algorithm. It is called as division algorithm also. You can even call it long division method. When you are dividing a polynomial with another polynomial, you call it division of like long division or division algorithm. Now the step 1, okay, we all know that this thing is known as dividend and this thing is known as divisor, small d, and this one will represent by, let's say, capital D. All right, okay, so arrange the dividend and divisor in decreasing powers. All right, basically descending, decreasing as in I mean here descending powers. So from larger to smaller, that's how we have to arrange our dividend as well as divisor. And if you'll notice in this question, the terms are already in the descending or the decreasing powers of the variable. All right, now the second step, this is the important one, and we'll repeat this step again and again. Okay, so step 2 is divide the largest power of dividend, sorry, let me be more clear, divide the term with largest power of variable on variable, power on variable of dividend by divisor, right? Okay, now let's start the long division also. X cube minus x square minus 2x plus 8. All right, and my divisor is x plus 2. Now what is the term of dividend with highest power on variable? X cube. And what is the power same for divisor? X. So x cube, let's do the rough work here. X cube divided by x gives me what? X square, right? So the answer, that will be my quotient here. All right, now step 3 is multiply the divisor with quotient received, quotient, just all right, and subtract from dividend, from dividend. All right, so x square times x, it's x cube, x square times plus 2, it's plus 2 x square. All right, and what does it say? And subtract. So let's subtract. whenever we are subtracting, the sign on the below, like expression changes, minus and minus, right? So x cube minus x cube cancels out, minus x square minus 2x square, it's minus 3x square, and carry the entire dividend down, minus 2x plus, right? Now the next step is repeat step 2 and 3. Now what was the step 2? I have to divide the largest power of the dividend by the largest term with the largest power of the divisor. So now it's minus 3x square, minus 3x square divided by x cancels out, give me minus 3x. So minus 3x, right? So minus 3x times x, it's that is minus 3x square, and minus 3x times plus 2, it's minus 6x. On subtracting, this is minus plus minus plus, so cancels out, minus 2x plus 6x is 4x plus 8. Again let's repeat the second step. So 4x divided by x, correct, gives me 4. So plus 4, and you will get 4 times x is 4x, 2 times 4 it's 8, right? So on subtracting, I'll get 0, right? Now there is one more like rule, or not a rule exactly, it says, all right, I am writing it down here inside the boxes. Okay, divisor, sorry, dividend equals to divisor into quotient plus remainder, right? So that is, what was the dividend? It is x cube minus x square minus 2x plus 8 can be written as the divisor, that is x plus 2 times the quotient, that is x square minus 3x plus 4 plus remainder, which is in this case is 0. This is very important rule, alright. In some of the books you might find it written as, where should I write it? Alright, I am writing it there. Okay, in some of the books you can find fx equals dx times qx plus rx. You can even find it written like this, where fx is the dividend, dx is the divisor, qx is the quotient, and rx is the remainder. It's exactly the same thing, but they are writing it, rather than as a constant thing, they're writing it in terms of polynomials or expressions, right? So fx is a polynomial, which is basically the dividend, dx is a polynomial or an expression, it will be a polynomial only, which is the divisor, qx is a polynomial. Now why are they writing in terms of x? Because the entire function or the entire polynomial will be in terms of x, alright. Please note it down, make sure to note either this one down or this down, right? And also at the end of this, please note this down, very important. You should know how to write a polynomial in terms of its divisor, quotient and remainder, alright. Note it down please, and also make sure to write these steps down for now. You don't have to write them down in your exams, but they will just be helpful to, you know, for revise you whenever you are in doubt. All right, so note them down, note down this question, then note down this formula also. Moving on to the next topic, that is solving cubic equation. Now there are some points written here, let's read them first. Solving an equation means to find the value of x for which fx equals to 0. When I'm basically finding or I'm solving an equation, I'm finding the values of x for which fx, or I can say y, is equals to 0. All right, the next point say graphically, it here means solving the equation. Graphically, solving an equation means the value of x where the graph cuts the x-axis. This is very important. Students don't even know what do you mean by solving an equation graphically, right? Whenever you are solving the equation graphically, it means I have to find the values of x where the graph will cut the x-axis. These values are also known as roots of the equation. What do you mean by roots of the equation? If I'll give you y equals, let's say, x square minus 4x plus 8, just a random value, right? So to find the roots of the equation, what you'll do, you'll put this entire thing equals to 0, correct? If this entire thing equals to 0, that means the y value is also equals to 0. And on a graph, where is y 0? On the x-axis. So that's why I will say that yes, whenever I'm talking about the roots of the equation, I'm basically talking about the point where the graph cuts the x-axis. Solving the equation and finding the roots of the equation are basically the same thing, and graphically it means I'm talking about a point where the graph cuts the x-axis. Please note down these 3 points. All right, moving on to a question. So draw the graph of y equals x cube minus 5x square plus 2x plus 8, and hence solve the equation this. If I can find draw the graph, I can easily solve this equation. That will be the points where the graph touches the x-axis. Now let's start with x and y. Let's start with the simplest one. Let's start with 0 from here. If x is 0, y is 8, that's very obvious, right? Now let's talk about when x is 1. So let's solve this. We are not going to show our working, it's not necessary, right? So 1 minus 5 plus 2 plus 8. So 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 8 11, minus 5 is 6. Now let's talk about minus 1. All right, so when x is minus 1, this is minus 1, this is also minus, sorry, not minus 1, this is minus 5, this is minus 2 plus 8. On solving, it becomes 0, right? Now let's talk about x as 2. Now when x is 2, what do you get as y? 2 cube, that is 8, minus 5 times 2 square. 2 square is 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 times 2, it's 4, plus 8 as it is. 8 plus 8 16, plus 4 20, minus 20, again 0, right? Now let's talk about x3. All right, okay, when x is 3, what do you get? 3 cube, that is 27, right? Minus what is 3 square? 9. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 2 times 3 6, plus, yes, all right, 8 plus 6 14, 14 plus 27 is 41, minus 45 is minus 4, yes, all right. Next, 4. At 4, what will you get? 4 cube is 64 minus 4 square is 16 times 5, it's 80, plus 2 times 4, 8 plus 8. On solving, you will again get, yes. Now let's come to the negative ones, that is minus 2 and minus 3. So at minus 2, let's solve the minus 2 value. That is going to be minus 2 cube, that is minus 8. Yes, minus minus 2 squared, 4, right? And 4 times minus 5, it's minus 20. 2 times minus 2, it's minus 4 plus 8. Cancel them out, you will get minus 24. Now let's talk about minus 3. So minus 3 cube, it's minus 27. 3 square is 9. 9 times 5, it's 45. Plus 2 times minus 3 is minus 6 plus 8. Let's solve this. 33, that is 78, that is minus 70. We will not go that much, but let's just plot this one, right? Minus 70. We'll be taking plots of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, x axis, y axis, and minus x axis, and this is minus y axis, right? So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and minus 6. 5 minus 10. Now what is left? Just plotting the points. So let's start with minus 3 comma 70. We cannot do that, right? So we are going to leave it for now. Minus 2 comma 24. Sorry, minus 2 comma minus 24. Minus 2 comma minus 24. It's somewhere here, right? Okay. Next is minus 1 comma 0. That is this point. Next is 0 comma 8. That is somewhere here, right? Okay, I don't know what's happening. Next is 1 comma 6. So 1 comma 6, it's somewhere here. Next is 2 comma 0 comma 0. Then 3 comma minus 4. 3 comma minus 4 somewhere here. Then 4 comma 0 again, right? All right, now let's try and plot this out. So it will be something like this. So that's what my graph looks like. Now the question was, second part was, hence solve the equation this. You don't need to solve it, just find the points where the graph actually cuts the x axis. Now what points are those? X equals to minus 1 comma 2 comma 4. So that's my second part. If you will get a question, this will be of 1 marks, this will be of 3 marks or 4 marks or 2 even, but this will never be more than 1 marks. All right, please note it down. All right, let's move on to the next one, and in this we'll be studying how to draw the graph using an alternative method without actually drawing the entire table. Now what was my equation? Let's get back to the equation first. It was x cube minus 5x square, x cube minus 5x square plus 2x plus, right? Now the thing is, if I can find out one value of x for which this entire equation becomes equals to 0, right? That is, let's find, we already know that one of the equations will be x equals to minus 1, right? So x equals to minus 1 will satisfy this equation, right? So if x equals to minus 1 is a root of this equation, right? So we'll be studying this further, but I'm teaching you right now just for an instance. If x equals to minus 1 is a root, then x plus 1 is a factor, right? And if x plus 1 is a factor, then let's divide this entire polynomial with x plus 1, right? And if we do that, what we'll get? X square, that is x cube plus x square, and I'll get minus 6x square plus 2x plus 8, that is minus 6x minus 6x square minus 6x, 8x plus 8, correct? So what do I get as my factor? I am just note it down, then I'll erase it to solve this further. All right, pause the video and note it down, and I'm erasing it for now. I'll just leave my quotient. Now if I factorize this further, I'll get x minus x square minus 4x minus 2x plus 8, that is x minus 4 minus 2 x minus 4. On solving, I'll get x equals to 2 and 4 as my two other factors of this equation, right? Now since this is a cubic equation and the graphs of cubic equation are of two types, that's the first one and that is the second one. Now the coefficient of x cube determines whether the equation will have x cube, like whether it will be a first type of graph or the second type of graph. If the coefficient of x cube is positive, right, so we have a graph something like this, all right. And if the x cube is negative, then we have the graph something like, all right. So all right, now since it is positive, the graph should be something like this, with the graph touching the x axis at minus 1, 2 and 4. I can say that the graph should be something like this, right? Now we can solve it further and find out the value of this point, that is obviously going to be 8. So that's what my graph should look like without actually finding that table kind of thing, right? I get it, both the ways have some pros and cons. You can solve it like this by doing the long division. If not, you can always form the table, find out the exact values and find the graph. All right, please note it down if you want to. It's not necessary, it's an alternative method, but please, yeah, note it down. All right students, so that's it for this class. I hope the main part of this class was solving the cubic equations and the division algorithm or the long division method. I hope both these topics are clear. We'll be meeting in our next class with the same chapter with a new topic, that will be factor theorem and remainder theorem. Till then, please practice some of the questions for cubic equations. So take care and thank you. If you had a blast watching, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends and subscribe our channel to stay updated on all our future videos.